Hurricane Gilma forecasted to become a very powerful hurricane on tonight's tropical weather bulletin. Tropical weather bulletin for August 22nd. On the map of world tropics, we have two storms currently active, a recently named Shanshan and Hurricane Gilma, which is currently a Category 2 and could potentially peak as a Category 4 tomorrow afternoon. And Shanshan possibly could peak as a Category 3 up near Japan. So two very powerful storms we're with here. Here is the Eastern Pacific. Ignore the typo on the bottom. But Gilma is there, not expected to threaten any land, but 91E there is getting close to the Central Pacific, so we could see Hone. That's interesting. I'll tell you that. Here is Gilma currently, based off our analysis. It currently has winds of 105 miles per hour and a pressure of 970 millibars. Let's go ahead and take a look at the forecast. Here is the forecast. So fairly soon here, becoming a Category 3, peaking tomorrow afternoon likely as a Category 4. Gradual weakening here, keeping its Category 3 intensity for about a day and a half, then weakening down to Category 2 on the 25th, keeping that for a while, weakening down to Category 1 intensity at the very end of that run. So, Category 4 peak. This is probably going to be a very, very strong storm. Here is the Western Pacific. The only active thing is Shanshan, which currently has winds of around 40 miles an hour and a pressure of 1,003 millibars. On this day in 2018, we had three storms, two of which were very powerful. A Category 5 Hurricane Lane, the first Category 5 of 2018 Eastern Pacific season. Typhoon Cimarron, which was peaking as a Category 4, and Typhoon Sulik, which was approaching the Korean Peninsula as a Category 2 and peaked as a Category 3 earlier. Here are the names. The next name in the Atlantic is Francine, followed by Gordon. In the Eastern Pacific is Hector, followed by Ileana. And in the Central Pacific, chances for Hone are looking quite high currently. In the Western Pacific, the next name is Yagi, followed by Lipi. And in the North Indian Ocean, the next name is satellite imagery, followed by Dana. You can see throughout the day, the eye has been gradually improving on satellite imagery. And the storm, I don't know if you can see, but the cloud cover of the storm has expanded a little bit. The cloud cover of the storm is a bit bigger now. The convection is much tighter as well. This storm probably is rapidly intensifying. Let me check this real quick and tell you if it is rapidly intensifying. It absolutely is rapidly intensifying. Around this time tomorrow, this was actually projected to be a Category 3 at this time tomorrow, but it's supposed to peak tomorrow afternoon as a Category 4 hurricane. So that is something we definitely need to watch out for, because Category 4 is a very, very strong hurricane. Here is Shanshan on the satellite imagery. You can see a little bit of convection blowing up near the center of the storm, but the storm does look much better on satellite imagery. It was a tropical depression at the beginning of this year. It was named, I believe, at the 5 p.m. advisory. It might have been the 2 p.m. advisory. I don't know. I think it was the 5 p.m. advisory, but it's a tropical storm currently. JWC does not recognize that. JWC still has it as a tropical depression. JMA does not. JMA has given it the name Shanshan. So that's why we're running with Shanshan instead of, I think 12W was the depression name. I could be wrong about that, but I think it's 12W. But the storm does look much, much better now. And as I said earlier, sorry we didn't have a forecast up, but it is expected to peak, by our analysis, as a Category 3 near Japan. Heading towards Japan and still actually intensifying, so another high-latitude monster for Japan, just like Ampil. Here we are on the GFS. I'm going to pull up the Eastern Pacific here. There's Gilma. The GFS seems to have it at 966 millibars. We start the run here. See, GFS has it peaking at, I think, 958, which is only a Category 3, so that's interesting. Another hurricane forming behind Gilma. That's a very strong hurricane, too. peaking at 956 millibars. That's another Category 3. Gilma moving into the Central Pacific. This storm going way north. That's probably subtropical at that latitude. That's probably extratropical now at that latitude. And that storm just withers away completely. And I think that's a storm in the Gulf of Mexico right there. At the very end of that run, real quick. I know it's not the Atlantic. That looks like a storm in the Gulf of Mexico there at the very end of that run. Central Pacific. Now, this I believe is 91E right here, not Gilman. This is 91E, not 90% area of interest. So that does look like it becomes a tropical storm. Gilma moving into the Central Pacific there. 91E peaking at, I think that was 989 millibars there. 987, so a tropical storm, maybe a Category 1. Gilma moving into the Central Pacific here, that other hurricane moving into the Central Pacific as well. So, and then Gilma there making landfall over Hawaii and then just completely dissipating. Very different to last night's run, which had Gilma making it all the way to the Western Pacific as a typhoon. So this one now has Gilma moving over Hawaii, which is interesting. This is not what we're currently looking for Hawaiian threats. Then 91E reforms there, basically right on the international date line for the Western Pacific there. There's Shanshan, by the way. So Shanshan kind of just stalling near where it is for about a day, then gets itself going, starts heading towards Japan, becoming very powerful there. I think that was a what just happened? 956 millibar peak right there. It's a 956 millibar peak, making landfall at 962. 956 millibar peak. I believe at that latitude would still be a Category 3. 962 millibar landfall there would probably be a Category 2 landfall. Then moving out and just pulling a typhoon land and just going straight there. Another storm forming right there. That's a very rapid intensification from that storm. Another storm hitting Japan. That is a very, very strong typhoon there. Peaking down all the way at 938 millibars, which would be a Category 4. Another storm hitting Japan. Then that's 91E right there. And then another storm that looks like it's heading towards, guess what? Japan! And that's a typhoon too. Japan has had a rough time recently. Between the earthquakes, the tsunamis, Ampil, Shanshan, and now they've got another 2 storms on the way. Gilma. So this is Gilma, the very beginning of this frame. That's a very, very good satellite appearance, I will say that. We keep going with the run here. And good cloud tops too. The cloud tops at the beginning aren't great, but the eye at the beginning does look decent. But the cloud tops aren't that good. They're about upper minus 70s. Now though, they're still about upper minus 70s, but they extend much further. The eye still doesn't look that bad. It's only a Category 2. What do you expect? But the eye did look quite good earlier today. Like if we're looking at straight eyes, that could be a Category 3 potential eye, but it obviously was not a Category 3 earlier today. It's Category 2. It's been a Category 2 for most of the day. And we keep going with Gilma here. The very last frame there is the current, and it doesn't look bad. And once again, as I mentioned on the satellite, you can see the actual influence of the storm is much, much bigger, which is a sign that the storm is getting larger. So we'll be watching out for this, but this could become a extremely powerful hurricane tomorrow. Like, we're talking maybe even beyond 130 miles an hour. I'm not saying Cat 5 or anything. That's very, very unlikely. But I wouldn't be surprised to see a 140, maybe 145 peak. Where's Shanshan? There's Shanshan. Here is Shanshan. It's the same problem I had last night while I was trying to record. Very beginning, extremely good cloud tops. They're up to about minus 100 degrees right there at the beginning. Can't show the very last frame, but this is close to the current satellite imagery. Cloud taps are still very, very good. Still about mid minus 80s, maybe into the minus 90s. But I believe the center of the storm is like where you would expect the center to be. Absolutely no, it is not. The center is around here, so it is being sheared quite heavily to its north. But that I will probably poke out sometime, not super soon, but maybe late tomorrow, early 23rd. We could be seeing that as that's when it is expected to really, really get itself going. Is late tomorrow into the 24th. Wait, no, late late 23rd into the 24th. My bad. I'm kind of dumb. But that's it for tonight's weather bulletin. We will probably be back tomorrow, considering Kilma is going to be an extremely strong hurricane. But like, subscribe.